Fans of a certain driver are not going to like what I'm about to say, but it has to be said because of a new quote that just came out. Let's talk about it. Because this is more opinionated, I'm putting this on the Home Above the Yellow Line channel. This is not a new topic by any means that we are discussing right now. It has to do with star power in the sport. And this is a topic that I deal with a lot behind the scenes in my work in marketing and social media within motorsports. So it's very prevalent. It's something that I preach to my drivers all the time. I gotta talk about it with you all though, based off of an interview that a certain driver did that just compelled me to make this video. I, like many of you, think that since Dale Jr. retired, Jeff Gordon retired, Tony Stewart retired, etc., that we've been lacking some star power in this sport. We've been lacking some personality, but I think the past few years with the rise of social media and some new drivers coming to the forefront, that problem is starting to get solved. Ross Chastain, for instance, has been kind of the face of the old school fan, the blue collar fan. He's been the only driver in the past few years to break that barrier of motorsports media and mainstream media. I know drivers like Ryan Newman have broken into mainstream media for being in that awful, scary wreck at Daytona, but Ross Chastain was able to break that barrier by doing something that was just authentically him. It wasn't an accident. It was the Hail Melon move, and that was really important. Ross has also gone out of his way to be in the infield, talking to his fans, being present, and that's something that I feel like we've lost a little bit at the top level of the sport. So Ross Chastain for me screams star power. When I think of star power, I think of our reigning champion, Ryan Blaney, who has had his own podcast. He's guest starred in some TV series like The Crew. That's a TV series I don't want to talk about. That was wow. Anytime Ryan has had a chance to put himself in the spotlight, he has done it. And I also commend Team Penske for Penske Games years ago, really making sure that their drivers were highlighted in a fun way, showing off their personalities. That's why when I started off in the sport, I was a really big fan of Penske because I saw that their drivers had personality, had the ability to have fun, but also get shit done. If we want to go down the podcast route, Action's Detrimental with Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin arguably right now is the most vocal driver we have in the sport. He has a big personality. He has been deemed the villain by the industry and fans, and he is gladly accepting that role. He's promoting change in the sport. He's speaking for the fans, but he also is taking criticism from the fans, but he's able to hold that all together and be a star that the sport needs. On top of that, he was the star of the NASCAR Netflix docuseries Full Speed. He gave NASCAR and Netflix kind of full access to his life. He encouraged his team at 23XI to do the same, and look at where they are now. We now have more fans for that team because of what we saw on Netflix. So I mentioned all these drivers, and understandably for 6 consecutive seasons, they have not been named the most popular driver. That honor goes to Chase Elliott. In terms of his presence outside of the vehicle, Chase has done a few commercials, notably the ones for Napa. He does have his own documentary on Peacock. However, he's not very active on social media or in the online space. A lot of his posts seem PR driven, which, to be fair, if you're an athlete at the top level, a lot of your posts expectedly will be from a PR representative, your social media team. He doesn't go out of his way though to make any, personal posts, personal comments, really kind of like Eric Jones would, or even too like Eric Jones and Chase Briscoe would, like kind of hashing out beef online. He doesn't do any of that. He doesn't have to. He doesn't really state any of his opinions online either, like Denny Hamlin does. Again, he doesn't have to, but just to exemplify his online presence, it's very minimal. And of course, he wasn't in the Netflix docuseries Full Speed because, of course, he did not make the championship fight in 2023. That is understandable why he's not in that. 100%, that's not my issue. So that's not the issue. The issue that compelled me to make this entire video is a quote that he said on the Dale Jr. download talking about Netflix's Full Speed and a potential of being on a season 2. Chase and Dale were talking about the show, and Dale asked if this was something he would want to be a part of, and Chase Elliott said, quote,
I don't know. Yeah, obviously I didn't do it last year. I haven't watched it at all, so I think my first step to
answering that question would be to watch it.
Answering that question would be to watch a little bit of it and just see how bad they would piss me off being around all the time. I just, it might not be the most entertaining thing or the most popular answer or whatever, but dude, I really just want to go fast and I want to do my job at a high level. And if I feel like there's anything that's going to take away from that, I'm probably going to say no to it.
Yeah.
I appreciate the honesty, and I completely understand Chase Elliott's perspective here. Last season, his performance was not great. He had that injury this season so far. We're about, 5 races in. It's been a little bit hit or miss for all of Hendrick Motorsports. And undoubtedly, doing something as big as this will pull your focus in a different direction. You're going to have cameras on you at all the time. Your privacy is taken away. You're spending extra time with media doing interviews, allowing Netflix into your home if you choose to do that. So I totally understand that, and I understand that Chase Elliott is a more introverted guy. At least that's how he appears. He seems to be more private. He keeps his personal life close to his chest, which, again, I absolutely respect. I'm not asking Chase Elliott to change who he is. I am a firm believer that you need to stay true to who you are and you do what you are comfortable with. So that's not my issue at all. My issue is that NASCAR's most popular driver, determined by the fans, does not want to be the face of the sport, and if he does, he's not making a compelling case. Case in point, this Netflix docuseries. Again, I understand he was not eligible to be in this docuseries because he did not make the round of 16. I understand that. But by saying essentially, and by kind of hinting towards he's not going to really want to do a season 2 if he makes it to the championship fight, that's concerning to me. Netflix has a global appeal. This docuseries had a chance to go global. It did. People all over the world were able to be introduced to NASCAR, and NASCAR's most popular driver does not want to be in it. That's a problem. I almost equate this to Lewis Hamilton's lack of appearance in season 1 of Drive to Survive. I remember because I was very new to Formula 1 at that point. I still technically really am, but I knew that Lewis Hamilton was the guy. And not seeing him on the Netflix docuseries, I was very confused. But then, of course, Lewis Hamilton joined Drive to Survive and everything made sense in the world. All of this to say, though, we are trying to force Chase Elliott to be that guy when he doesn't want to be that guy. Because that's not who he is. The fans might have deemed him the most popular driver, but the most popular driver, I believe, should be NASCAR's superstar, and that's not what Chase Elliott is. Chase Elliott is a superstar in the sense that he has a championship, he has multiple wins, he has the rich family history in the sport, but in terms of personality and the superstar that NASCAR needs him to be in terms of personality, appearance, outgoingness, willingness to really take the sport to the next level, Chase Elliott is not that guy. Therefore, you have a marketing dilemma, and this is not on NASCAR necessarily, this is also on the fans. We keep voting Chase Elliott as the most popular driver, but he's not going to be able to elevate the sport to a new height. We need other drivers to do that, but when these drivers don't have that most popular fan backing, there's only so much NASCAR can do. So backing up to Chase Elliott not wanting to be in the spotlight, not only does he have that working against him, but again, he doesn't have the performance to back him up, so I don't see the star quality in him right now. I think about this though, when I think back to Dale Earnhardt Jr. He didn't have the best performance, but he was still the most popular driver. However, he did have that star quality where he was in the media. He was actively advocating for the sport at every turn. So you can still have kind of that lack of performance in that star quality and reasonably be the most popular driver, absolutely. But now we're in a time where the sport is getting more notoriety in the media. We're trying to bring new fans in, and I feel like we have to make a difficult choice to push more drivers ahead marketing-wise as opposed to Chase Elliott. I should specify this is not me making a public cry to not vote Chase Elliott as the most popular driver. If he's your favorite driver, vote him. Absolutely 100%. But it creates a dilemma. And to reiterate this again, yes, Chase Elliott was not in the docuseries, and it kind of forced NASCAR's hand to highlight other drivers that we have in the sport and make them stars. And forcing NASCAR's hand and Netflix's hand to do that was a big positive because it forced us to take a step in the right direction. So I don't know if this is me backpedaling a little bit or whatever this is, but if Chase Elliott doesn't want to participate in the docuseries if he makes the championship fight, I think that's fine. But when we're marketing our drivers outside of the Netflix space, we have to make that equal. If we market them really heavy in Netflix, we have to market them really heavy in other social media platforms and other platforms, etc. Just my take, my thoughts. It's interesting. Talking about marketing is so interesting. So I saw that quote from Chase Elliott on the Dale Jr. download, and it made me start thinking, again, NASCAR is headed in a fantastic direction. The TV ratings have been up consistently over the past few weeks. That's a huge positive. Social media buzz online. Awesome. The fact that we're getting in more fans, more people have been even just reaching out to me through DMs or comments saying, I'm a new fan here. Can you explain this, this, and that? That's wonderful. That's what we want to see. So none of this was to bash Chase Elliott. None of this was to bash other drivers. None of this was to bash the sport. It's all to say if we want to continue this positive momentum, we might need to change a few things marketing wise, and I think that's okay, and I think we recognize that. So there's my rant for today on the Above the Yellow Line main channel, because again, it was more opinionated, so take it as you will, but what do you think of all of this? Let me know in the comments below. Of course, make sure to go to abovetheyellowline.com and make sure to share this video, like this video, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching this episode, I guess, of Above the Yellow Line, and until next time, I'll see ya. Bye. Thanks so much to our partners Happy Hour Racing and Goat Locker Racing. Make sure to check out abovetheyellowline.com to sign up for our newsletter for a chance to win some NASCAR gear each month.